Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago. It is Thursday, 17th of August, 2017. I am 1 hour late. It is 9 o'clock. And I apologize. My excuses are good. I'll give it to you when we build an audience. The name of the show tonight is Why. So I thought we'd start with a song that asks why. Let's do this. If you're late, but call everybody. Let's see you awake.
When I pick you up, you was lively and you was hot. I tell myself this is it. We go back to down the place. Now you keep holding back, and you have it in your waist. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Tell me why you don't have this feeling like that. It's so nice. I wonder what's on your mind.
Sharing the video. I am sharing the video to all the threads and all the groups. Share it yourself. Get the word out. Let them know we're here.
You don't have
A little bit late.
so nice.
Better late than never.
Wonder what's on your mind. Don't tell me you're going to run my life. If you want something to shake you ding-a-ling. Hey. If you want
Y'all know the song?
if you want a man
This is the Baron. Tell me why. People sleeping. Wake them up. Turn up the music.
You can say to me that we don't have the energy. We were staring down the place. Drink for drink and drink for waste. But now you have me in shock. You go run out of love. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Hey. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Tell me why you don't have the feeling and body so nice. I wonder what's on your mind. Don't tell me you're going to ruin my night. Tell me why you don't have the feeling and body so nice. I wonder what's on your mind. Don't tell me you're going to ruin my night. Maybe you want something to shake you ding-a-ling. Hey. Maybe you want a man to get back out of hand. Maybe you want to find the fire of the all right.
Seen plenty of the usual suspects. Well, the bed wet. Well, they ring up the phone. Where you? I tell all you that tough week. You see message. Hey, I take my stick. Or like my clock spoil. Hey. Well, you go answer for that. Somebody need to answer the question. Why? The last month and a half we asked one question. Who? But tonight, let me ask why. I want to look like I'm trying to play young boy. Let me ask questions. Why? Yeah. Let me say that is it. Let me say that is who come in. Who else come will catch me on the way. Who ain't catch me will watch it on the rerun. Be like that now. That was Baron. Thursday, 17th August 2017. Tell me why. And I'm dedicating that song, not the whining part, but I'm dedicating the question to Keith Christopher Rowley. And I'll tell you why. Simple arithmetic. The decision to give the contract for the ferry service to Bridgemans Limited was made by the cabinet. It was made by the cabinet. Fitzgerald Hines wasn't doing a good enough job. They fire him. They make him Minister of Public Utilities. And they bring in Rohan Sinanan, financier to the PNM. That was his role. They call him campaign manager, but that was nonsense. He was a financier. His job was to bring food master money, buy himself into the party, and then raise funds. He and Gabriel and Al-Rawi and them. That was the shiny pointy shoe bunch. Used to be going all over the place interfering with people for money. But that's not the issue. That's not the issue. The issue is this. When Rohan Sinanan was made Minister of Transport, he was sent there to do a job. Now, according to the rules and according to what we believe, he was sent there to operate as the Minister of Transport and to sort out what was going on with the Port Authority and the Sea Bridge. But he went to do another job, and that job was to facilitate PNM finances. They went to crush the existing Sea Bridge and give the contract to themselves. And I'm saying that without fear of contradiction. Because this Christian Mute bullshit investigation aside, that nothingness. That is like the fly on the backside of a dead hippo while vulture and wolves eating. I ain't studying that. I want to study this. The decision to give the contract to Bridgeman Services was a cabinet decision, Keith Rowley. I'm saying it again. The decision to give the contract to provide the ferry service between Trinidad and Tobago was a cabinet decision, Keith Rowley. If I lie, tell me I lie. Prove a lie, bring the minutes. I'm telling you, it's a cabinet decision because we knew all those Johnny-come-latelys who jump on board the ferry thing now. We in this since April. And I'm telling you, I have my information too. I asked 20 questions today, and I know you read it. Because this morning I asked, who is the government minister, frontline government minister, whose daughter living with a pusherman, and holding that pusherman with the next pusherman, living with one that very known to the police, phone ringing whole day. All them big shots calling me to find out which minister it is. Well, you're all. I'm holding that dry. I'm holding that dry. You see, PNM have a playbook, and I read the playbook. I read the playbook when I saw Garnet Mangalsingh from Hobson's in his green jockey shorts in the bomb. And I expect them to do me anything, you know. And I promise you all something. It's called MAD. Mutual Assured Destruction. Rowley, you think Ravina is the only one I know about, son? You think when I bust the mark about your outside child, for the rest of Trinidad to run and play catch up, you think I was the only one I knew about? Wait now, bro. Wait now, bro. Andrew Gabriel, forget he and I used to lift weights in the same gym. Used to talk the same talk. But stick a pin in all of that. If the cabinet made a decision to give Bridgeman Services the contract, that means Keith Rowley had to be present because the cabinet cannot sit without the Prime Minister. So Keith Rowley has to know who owns Bridgeman's Services. And we've been asking, not for Andrew Purdue. You see, they went and find a white boy because people buzzing the name Andrew wrong, the Bridgeman's contract. You heard Andrew. So they went and find a Andrew. And they bring a Andrew to distract you, this PNM. They ratted, you know. They ratted with the thing. They know the thing. They actually bring a Andrew for you. You're saying Andrew? Look, Andrew. No problem. They bring Andrew Purdue from Canada. But we don't want to talk to Bridgeman's Canada. You see, Bridgeman's Canada is not the issue. Bridgeman's Trinidad and Tobago Limited is. Rohan Sinanan, you gave the contract to Bridgeman Services Trinidad and Tobago Limited. And up to this day, you cannot explain to the nation who exactly that might be. Mark Basant traveling the world, bouncing up all kind of fake address, shut down office, dead ends, looking for Bridgeman Services. But Rohan, you know, and worse than you, your cabinet know. And we've been asking you who is Bridgeman Services because you see, we know you own Curep Interchange designated location K-Dollar. And we're waiting to file an injunction in your ass if you go to launch that as the location for the government to buy 15 times the price you pay for the land from Mirage, because we know how much Mirage sell it for. But forget that. We're talking about this. We've been asking you who? Who, Rohan? Rohan, I know about your lesbian anyway. Asking you who? And I want to tell you, see, I'll stop at the word lesbian. Rohan, I want you to hear me, son. I know all your business. I know Smalley business too. And I want you to know, like I tell you this morning, and I just want you all to know, if they want to play stink and dirty, we could play there too. And forget Kamala and the UNC. Because, and I apologize for this, but as a communication specialist, and for Anil and Ramadan Singh and the rest of them Bacchanal squad, I used to help them deal with their less than stellar reputations. So we know, and we know. Forget that, because I'm not playing that game. All I'm saying is this. If you attack us, we will attack back. Be careful. This ain't no fly-by-night Congress of the People party. All you're watching Congress of the People, this is an aside. But I need to wake you all up to this Congress of the People fast that's taking place. Them can't get along with each other. Two brothers, Prakash Ramadan and his brother, sue each other. One brother looking to levy on the other over politics. Ricky Garcia and Rocky Garcia take each other to court. Next one looking to levy on the other one over politics. They call for an election out of the blue. They went in the cemetery, dig up the corpse, and say they call in an election. And from the moment they announced that, lawsuit, bacchanal, wrangling, fighting, it gets so stink in the engine room, in the COP, that the remaining 3 members of the leadership throw away their membership. They quit. They quit to the point when Anirudh, Lorraine, and Clyde were the head, quit the COP, there was nobody left to receive the resignation. They left it on the table. They quit from nobody. You know they say last man out, turn out the lights. They call Daya Griffith. End the fast. Carolyn Sipasad Bechan. End the fast. Sharon McNichol Gopal. End the fast. I want to tell you all something. I give the COP a blind because Nicole Daya Griffith running for the COP leadership and Gary Griffith is my boy. But I'm not tolerating bullshit and I ain't dragging no chains in this politics. So nobody can say that I've given anybody a ease up. The Congress of the People is a dead party. They had one chance to play and they muck it up. Winston Dukaran sell his soul for a deputy political leader, and when Kamala overlooked Dukaran and gave Jack Warner the first acting prime ministership, Winston Dukaran throw a tantrum from then. He could get a golden passport from India and a platinum one from China. It doesn't change our history. He threw a tantrum that destroyed the People's Partnership, it destroyed the ideology of the Congress of the People, and it destroyed the party. So when Anil realized what was going on, because Anil was Jack Manor business in the COP, and Anil jumped out and say he would challenge Dukaran. Dukaran ran quick and called for backup. And that's how Vernon de Lima, Prakash Ramadan, this mad girl Nalini Diyal end up in the thing. And all that is history, forget about it now. But there is nothing in the Congress of the People for anybody. High, low, hang, jack or game. Whether you're intelligent or you're stupid, they have nothing there. And I tell you now, call a meeting, call a genuine meeting. I don't pay people to come. Call a genuine meeting and go live. Because this Saturday, the Progressive Empowerment Party having a live line on 19 Stanmore Avenue, nearly 1,000 tickets sell for a barbecue. So they ain't coming there for free, and we are paying them. They're paying us for the pleasure, and they're helping build their party. So the Congress of the People, stand up big, stand up strong. Show us your membership list. Today I get a call from the COP, and that's how I end up in this, to remind me that Sunday's election. I say, no, papi, not even a little bit. I am not a member of that party. The Congress of the People stood for things and marshaled the resources of the middle class and the disenchanted voter and lied to all of them. And then I would go to COP, National Council meetings, and hear members fighting about URP and CPEP for their gangs. And I say, well, look at freaking this. This is what? New wine in old skins. Nothing changed. We didn't want to stop Manning. We wanted to play with Manning toys. Make an ass of everybody. And I no problem. You could fool me once. Shame on me. No, it's fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And you ain't getting that second chance. You're not. When I left the Congress of the People, unlike Nicole Daya Griffith, I left for good. And when I tried to form the Third Force movement together with her husband and Timothy Hammersmith, it didn't work out. The United Forces, the PNM and the UNC descended on it because they don't want a Third Force. No problem. We walked away from that. But never stopped. I ran as an independent candidate. I put my money where my mouth is. And I ran as an independent candidate, Diego Martin West 2015. And now we are here, Progressive Empowerment Party. I don't swallow back vomit. When we're done, we're done. When we're done, we're done. Done. And that door closed. The Congress of the People has nothing of value for anybody. And all they're trying to do right now with that party is they're trying to snatch a name and build up a little grouping. They were bringing the Archbishop and an ex-principal and a mechanic from your area, and you're going to say, the party have some substance. They have jack all. It's like a balloon. One prick and it gone. It have nothing of value at all. And they're going to try to fool you to the point where you'll be willing to say, you know what, let me make a deal. Let me join forces. Make a deal so you and you and you could get a position in a partnership and a coalition. But we've been down this road before. Wheel and come again, because I just need to keep putting that in the public space and who vex laws. But the COP, anybody who wastes their time to go to the COP internal election to vote, or they'll get what they're looking for. And you're sure to get it. In its heyday, it was rude and disrespectful. The people who walked away from the 170,000 votes in 2007 didn't understand what the Congress of the People stood for. And that 170,000 votes was going to grow. But they were greedy and they were impatient. So in our Pagua competition, Dukaran and Kamla sealed the fate of this nation, and we've been paying for that since. And certain contractors become billionaires because Dukaran couldn't keep his zip up. But forget all of that. Come back to this. Because I want you to understand, we in this politics thing long time. We know the game, we know the players, and we know the players. So the Progressive Empowerment Party never came here to say, Mother may I. And we never came here to say, we're looking to make an accommodation with either the people's national molestation, and under no circumstances. We want nothing to do with neither. And we in this for the long haul, working very hard. The Congress of the People, the last time they had a meeting was 3 years ago. They have not come to you. They have not brought a plan, an idea, inkling of what they would do to rescue the country from those two bandit clans. In fact, they won't go on record to tell you that Keith Rowley and Kamla Persad-Processor are the leaders, chieftains of the corruption that is destroying this country, because they can't. Because they need to negotiate with one of those two parties to get themselves a lifeline and to remain politically relevant. It's backdoor politics. It's cheap, disgusting, stink politics, and you need to throw that away. It is time, Trinidad and Tobago, and I keep telling people, forget about me, I may not run for anything. I will be here, and I will be serving my country, because I have been serving my country for all of my life. And that will not change, and it doesn't need office to do it. So if you feel like doing this to get a contract, I'm too bright, I don't need that. I don't need that. And my ego not so big that my rims need to spin. And for those who don't think I'm knocking you, spin all you want. I'm just saying that everybody gets what they want out of life. And the reality of our situation in Trinidad and Tobago today is our politics has led us astray for 55 years. We've been lied to, taken advantage of, undressed and raped time and time and time again. And they have nothing worse than going back with a past abuser because you think the current abuser abusing you too much. There is life outside of those parties. And it is your job. So when people ask you, and who you go put, tell that person, go and tie your tubes. If you cannot think outside of the PNM and UNC, don't be breeding at all. We don't need you to be reproducing. We need people who care enough about this country to understand that we have a responsibility to this democracy. And when you identify that the lesser of two evils is still ultimately, fundamentally evil, you have a responsibility to change that. It is a handful from Rienzi and a handful from Balize House that have held this country hostage for 55 years, and that have to change. Come back to this. Rohan Senanan. I don't want to reach all here, I don't want to reach all here, but I want to make a point. I want to make a point to you. We're not letting go. And Keith Rowley, we was asking Rohan Senanan for the past month, who? Now I want to ask you why. Why, if you already know who owns Bridgeman Services, and if you already know who gave the instruction to give Bridgemans the contract, why this fake investigation? If your 2x4 Attorney General want to be Stuart Young and Stuarty Boy, your business in the road. Shorty boy, you and Maria, tell Maria for me, all them times Ernst and Young wash them out on me, they go catch back up, because all your business in the road, papi. Don't say I say, not yet. But Shorty boy, tell Maria, all your business in the road. Kid Rowley, when you got the advice from your 2x4 Attorney General Stuart Young that you had the constitutional power to appoint an investigator, he lied to you. You do not have that power. You have more authority to appoint Christian Muti to play Santa Claus for the cabinet Christmas party than you are to appoint him as a special investigator of any kind. He has absolutely no authority. So now you take poor Joan Mute's husband and make a jackass of the man. And he spent a lifetime. Look how much hair the boy had to scratch out of his head to reach where he is. Selling poor people nasty, dirty, stinking, heart attack causing KFC. Look what he had to do to reach where he is. And in one move, you make a mockery of the man. You give him powers that he can't take and that you don't have to give. Why? Why all of this? Why can't one of you say, Bridgman Services is owned by X, Y, and Z, and we decided to give them the contract? Let the chips fall where they may. But you're now in hiding. You're a prime minister ducking. You're lying and misdirecting. Your whole cabinet deflecting. You're the blackest man in Trinidad and Tobago. You fired the only black man that was in your cabinet, Fitzgerald Hines. Fitzy gone quiet, walking around town carrying Forest bag for him. Big mouth. Talk his way into a corner. And now Fitzy in trouble with the same cabinet. Because Fitzy don't know how to toe that kind of jackass line. And I told Fitzy over and over because I like him, you know. Fitzgerald Hines, he's a rapid fire, big mouth shit talker. But I like him. I like him too bad. And I told him. One day I was running around the savannah. And when I reached back by my car, I see a black Rasta man in a 3-piece suit stand up by my car with the 2 arms folded. Fitzgerald Hines stopped to tell me he saw my car, he saw me running, and he stopped here to wait to tell me that my role and position in Trinidad and Tobago was supposed to be the PNM. I have big places to go. And I said, Fitz, how you could tell me that, brother? You know what I know. You know the things that I know. I know it since Eric Williams' days. I know how nasty, stink, and corrupt the PNM is. How dirty and diseased and deceitful. I know it well. How could you tell me that? What role could you see for me in that party? And he tried to explain to me that the UNC was more evil than the PNM, and I was willing to give him the benefit of the doubt because they had just done Section 34. And if anybody needs to be voted into oblivion, never to be heard from in politics again, it is Kamla Prasad's stink-mouth Besessa for that nasty play. And what is even worse, she fooled this nation. They say the greatest trick the devil ever played is to fool and to convince people he didn't exist. The greatest trick Kamala ever played was to convince people she didn't know about Section 34. She lied. So when Fitzy tell me that the PNM was a lesser evil than the UNC, I was willing to give him the benefit of the doubt because Section 34 was an actual deliberate hijacking of the parliament. This was before Rowley came and do the same thing with Emailgate. But our topic for another subject, and it proved the point that the lesser evil of two evils is always fundamentally evil. Somebody said voting between the PNM and the UNC is having to choose between cancer and a heart attack. It is not a lie. They could tell you what they want tonight. They could, today's Thursday. Those who forget we have an agreement are allowed to cuss on a Thursday. They could fire truck my name to you, up and down and sideways. Philip raped Moses and kidnapped Elijah. No problem. I nailed them nails into Christ's hand and feet. I cool with that. Fire truck me. No problem. But defend your party. Defend the people you're following. Defend Daru, my track record. Alan Karim, Anand Ramlogan, Rudal Munilal, Suruj Rambachan, Long Tall Sally in the Senate. Defend Darumai's track record. Vasant, defend Pandey. I know you're jumping with Kamlan, you ride Kamlan like a nice ripping wave. But you and I know you're one of Pandey boys. Defend both. Vasant, you who came to the nation and talk after the people spit the UNC out, you come to tell the people about Kamala is not to be trusted. Yet you, Chakas extraordinaire, had 3 ministries, 3 salaries, liking your lanky self. And then it wasn't bad, you're worse than Rowley. I remember when Rowley went to the parliament and told people, I went to the prime minister in 2003 and told him of massive bid rigging under Unicot. But he told the nation that in 2009, 6 years, he sat down in that parliament and ate cabinet food and drank cabinet wine, and it was okay till he got fired. Jesus Christ in the whole Bible only ever bad talked one type of people. You ever notice that? He was willing to have dinner with tax collectors and spend his nights in the homes of prostitutes. But the one type of, he would surround himself with lepers. There was one type of person that Jesus Christ couldn't stomach, and that was hypocrites. Look it up in the Bible. He called them broods of vipers and empty tombs. Google that. Vasant Bharat and Keith Rowley are 2 stink and dirty political hypocrites. And that is why even the crooked and corrupt UNC have no room for Vasant. He had to go and find Stacey Rupnarayan, Stephen Cadiz, and the rest of the B and C team to try and make up a challenge to Rudal's B team. And that again is only hate masquerading as politics. Them fellas so greedy. I talking to one lawyer and tell him, boy, how your colleague got thief my stuff? And he said, boy, I don't talk to he. I said, boy, in the same front line. He said, yeah, but I don't talk to he. How you could be in a political organization fighting for a common cause, saying you have a similar ideology and all together? I would walk away today for that. You cannot say to yourself that the end justifies the means. You cannot tell yourself that. You cannot. Bullshit aside. The end does not justify the means. If what you want, if what you want as the ends is a nation of decent people, everybody getting to share in the national pie, every creed and race finding an equal place, you can't get there using racism and corruption. How do you justify that? Hypocrisy of the highest order. But stick a pin in all of that and come back to this. Rohan Sinanan, we do not care about the procurement of the Ocean Flower and the Cabo Star. Tell David Abdullah take that piece of misdirecting bullshit and miss us with it. It is not our job to ask who Bridgemans procured through. Bridgemans had the contract, and that's the question we want answered. Who owns Bridgemans services? I don't give a flying fire truck what Christian Mute pull out his drawers. Nothing here is for him to investigate. But this question, bring the cabinet minutes. Who did the cabinet decide to give the contract to? Who is Bridgeman Services? And Keith Rowley, you may be guilty of perverting or conspiring to pervert the course of justice with the appointment of this guy, Mute. And Stuart Young may have led you astray. Because in a proper nation, the opposition would have called for an investigation for misbehavior in public office, for making a public appointment that you did not have the authority to do, that is wrong in law. It corrupt in the womb. At the conception stage of that plan, it was already dead. And you came to the nation to fool the people and pretend that you had the authority to give Christian Muti the authority to investigate. He doesn't, you don't. And when Stuart Young went on the hustings, or whatever you call the talk show circuit that he went on, to tell Trinidad that the police will wait until Muti investigate, I wonder who the ass Stuart Young thinks he is. And to say that those who don't answer to the investigation will have further questions to answer, are you compelling testimony by threat? Did we wake up in a dictatorship, Stuarty boy? Where did you get your law degree? In a box of Cracker Jacks? Have you ever read the Constitution of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago and know the powers of the Prime Minister? Because if you don't, sit up, shut up, and try to look intelligent. I have told you this before. When you came to the nation, the son of a banker, to explain that you didn't know how checks worked. I told you then, you're making an ass of yourself. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. You all are making a mockery of Parliament, government, and cabinet. The entire nation now confused as to who among your ranks to pay attention to. If you don't know and you advise blindly to a man who couldn't find out for himself that his legal advice was wrong, and doesn't know that you don't know, both of you should fire yourself. And to Christian Muti, who jump out himself, who have 12 boards of directors to chair, where the hell, if this was functional and legal by law, where were you finding the time as a sole investigator? You see, you come to make an ass of people, Christian. You come to make a jackass of, where you was finding the time? Pure, unforgivable, total and complete madness masquerading as governance. And the nation has to wake up. The people of Trinidad and Tobago, who are the ultimate employers of all of these mocking pretenders, need to wake up. You all need to stand up. 3 more years of this and this country will sink. Can't do this no more. Ask yourself, if the cabinet had to be informed of the decision to give Bridgman Services the contract, and the cabinet cannot sit if the Prime Minister is not there. So that means the Minister of Works and Transport had to give the information to the Prime Minister for the deal to go through. Why would the Prime Minister need an investigation? Why?
Yeah.
Why need
Revelation.
Christian Muti to determine what you already know? Trying to make an ass of you. Misread.
Because the children coming to take back the power of the word in the conscious styling. I say the power of the word in the rap so styling. Rocking the roots of the vampire system. Talk it all, you punk pretender. Talk it all, you bloody deceiver. Talk it all, you servant master. Talk it all, you frigate oppressor.
for more. Who wanted a slow-mo of the cup?
Right down to the heart of the matter. Desire go bust and reality scatter. He promised to fire next time. He promised to fire next time. He promised to fire next time. And who ain't there? The badly wounded. Who ain't there? Badly wounded. Who ain't there? The badly wounded. Who ain't there? Badly wounded.
Before you go one step further, ask yourself this question. If the PNM and the UNC are different sides of the political aisle, how it is that to this day, not one of these well-known, well-publicized serial offenders have ever been brought to justice? Ask yourself that. The UNC campaign on PNM corruption, the PNM campaign on UNC corruption, and the only people taking jam is the people of Trinidad and Tobago. How are you to seriously consider? Somebody today told me, and this guy, he considers himself a party organizer in the UNC, and he told me, you all have a credible shot now. We thought you were a distraction and a disruption, but you have a credible shot. And that is good news for a 7-month-old party. And if 7 months make them fat, the next 7 months, what coming will make them
Check the lyrics and I confess you're far too long. You're fooling the children, filling their head with much education. Doomsday reach, and you retreat. The children coming to see that we speak. Power the word, conscious styling. I say the power the word, the rap so styling. Rocking the roots of the vampire system. Talk your talk, you're talking pretender. Talk your talk, you're planning the dreamer. Talk your talk, you're serpent master. Talk your talk, you're bringing oppressor. What is the matter? I can't seem to stop this ceaseless chatter. Chatter on the wrong in my head. Oh Lord, like they want me to dead. Everybody talking, nobody listening. Oh my God, what's really happening? Chatter. What is the matter? Chatter, the ceaseless chatter. Going right down to the heart of the matter. Everybody talking, nobody listening. Everybody talking, nobody listening. Nobody listening.
Chickenal talk it straight. You gotta rock the roots of the vampire system. You know what they're saying there? You know what I mean there? You know that vampire system? When Black Stalin, Leroy Calais say keep the chalice smoking, vampire passing, you know what they're talking about? They're talking about a nation that has been sucked dry. Year after year, election after election, administration after administration. Not one of them have ever taken the needs of the people to be the reason for them to be in government. Not one. And we, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, have to say enough. Have to say enough. One is not the answer to the other. The PNM is not the solution to the UNC. The UNC is not the solution to the PNM. That's like saying you're giving yourself diabetes to cure a migraine. That is not making sense. And making the same mistake over and over and over, expecting different results, is the textbook definition of insanity. And we're mad. We had to be mad. Because we keep spitting out these reasons every 5 years why the other side might be the better shot now. How do you keep letting an abuser into your home, relying on the abuser to have changed their ways? What are you building this belief on? What? What is making you believe that the moment spent out in the sun and rain, waiting for a turn to abuse you again, has caused a change of heart? What? What? But from tonight and going forward, I am now asking two questions. Till we get to the bottom of this, listen, this is not a game, you know. It may look like a game. I'll tell you why it looks like a game. Because Keith Rowley is reminding me of a little child that is caught. You're caught doing wrong, but you're not sure you're caught. But you know you're caught, but you're not sure. So you're trying all out to get out from pain for what you do. All of his actions, all of Keith Rowley's knee-jerk, pelter response actions are coming across like somebody panicking. And I feel, honestly, that when the mark really busts on what they tried with Bridgman Services, Rohan Sinanan going to get charged. He is aging by the day. Watch Rohan face. Watch his face. Rohan know what coming. He might get charged. And now dig a hole for himself. And we have to ask the Commissioner of Police and the Director of Public Prosecutions if this appointment of Christian Mute to interfere with a proper investigation may have attempted to pervert the course of public justice. They could be making things worse for themselves. And the Ministry of Finance needs to answer, who is it paying checks to? Ocean Flower and Cabo Star have been procured by a company that has a contract from the Port Authority of Trinidad and Tobago. Who is that? Who? Don't stop asking that question. No matter what they light on fire, no matter what shiny things they bring to distract you, no matter what, don't lose sight of this, because you see, this one within reach. They have no statute of limitations on what Faris do in Kamuto. We come back to that if something bigger robust. But Faris have questions to answer too. You see, you have to run the country like this. That the people who have public office that are responsible for the management of the nation, they are held to a higher standard than everybody else. When people make the joke and ask the question, who will guard the guards? The law. This is a republic, a nation ruled by law. When you take a public position, you put your hand on a holy book and you swear to God and to the nation that without fear or favor, malice or ill will, you will uphold the laws of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. So the first thing you do wrong, that law is supposed to hold you to account. Yeah? But I know you all know. And I'm proud of my country. Because I read in the news feed and all in ripping form. Thousands of you. I'm not directing you. You're going and you're bringing and you're finding and you're looking and you're checking and you're asking. And I liking that. Because that's all we ever needed to be. 1.3 million awoke citizens don't fire truck around with our nation. We hire you, we pay you well, have some blue lights, cut through traffic, no problem. Like up yourself, go on line with the smallies and hire at the end of the day. Who looking for a cheap ride with an expensive car? Go and do all that. But also do the job. And if you mess up, we will insist that justice be done. Because it is important from the top down. And I wanted to say this to Trinidad tonight, that when every time the news, social media or the traditional media carries news of a crime being committed and no justice is done and the perpetrators are not brought to justice, it emboldens others. Crime gets worse because people who would not normally consider killing somebody, robbing somebody, going into public office to get a contract to give a kickback to a government minister so they get pocket $1 million and they get people who would not normally consider choosing a life of criminal enterprise. It could be thieving Tulum or getting yourself the contract to do the desalination plan for Trinidad and Tobago in your own name or billing up anyway. You get the point. If justice is not done and seen to be done, the message is clear. Justice is not done. And if justice is not done, why obey the law? Because the only thing that's supposed to keep the lawless in line and in check is that you obey, is that the law would be enforced. That if you step out of line, it would be enforced. There are two scales on the symbol of justice, malum in se and malum prohibitum. Malum in se means evil in itself. We want to discuss it. Rape and murder and treason, evil in itself. The other scale is malum prohibitum. What we agree to be wrong. The laws of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. In Latin, malum prohibitum. And we say that we agree that these things are to not be done. And if you do them, there would be consequence. And if you are an enforcer of these laws, the consequences should be far more severe. So if a prime minister is caught corruptly enriching himself and his friends and his family, giving easement to contractors to construct and build so that he, in some other relative name, could get a $13 million townhouse in a Shorelands development, for example, he is supposed to be held to a higher standard. And that is where the law comes in. And the law of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago begins, whereas we the people, us, you and me, ultimately the responsibility is ours. Ultimately, the responsibility to hold all of these mocking pretenders to the highest of standards is ours. Anytime a citizen of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago tells you, Rowley do it, but so what, Kamala do it too, that is a jackass. That's a jackass. Do not allow that to influence your thinking. Because one wrong is not worse or less than another wrong. One wrong can't justify the commissioning of another wrong. Both wrongs are wrong. And if you cannot convince that person, if you can't say, listen, can you hold two thoughts in your mind? Can you agree to believe that both wrongs could both be wrong? And if yes, welcome to the great Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. And if no, leave your membership card at the gate. Go away. We don't need you. You're the problem. As the Bible says, the upholder is worse than the thief. The enabler, him or her that drives the getaway car, makes it easier. You see those lawyers and accounting firms that make it possible for crime to be committed and they sanitize and facilitate the crime? They are even worse because they are professionals sworn to a code of ethics. And you're supposed to expect that they would be faithful to their own freaking oath. Nobody hold a gun to your head. You've sworn an oath. You've said that with your life. You said that for me and for mine, this is my purpose. This I be. This I say. I of my own volition swear. If you can't be trusted with that, Christ, where we? And you, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, and we, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, we have to understand this. That as broken as this nation is fast fix. It is a fast fix. Step 1 has to be identify the problem. Step 2, take massive action to correct it. Step 3, do not deviate. Step 1 in this country, identify the problems. The PNM and the UNC, two corrupt and cancerous organizations that have destroyed the very fabric of this nation. And until we the people get to step Two, massive action by our labor, our consumption, and our vote make them irrelevant. Until we get to there, step 3 could never be done, and we need to understand that. So tell my son when he was a little boy to look at a horse on a racetrack and see why he has on blinkers. Those blinkers are to make sure that he see one thing only, ahead, straight ahead. Our job now, put on blinkers. We have a responsibility to Trinidad and Tobago. They will come. Trucks will be blaring this from the 4 corners of this island. Get your marching shoes ready.
Your vote will decide
Get ready.
what you want to be. Your vote can foretell our country's fate. Move and use it well before it's too late. If it is that who you're voting, fail beyond a doubt. When you're voting, vote them out. Vote them out. If it is they prove it to be only full amount. When you're voting, vote them out. Vote them out. If it is the time is now that change should come about. Just as how you vote them in, vote them out. Register and vote them out. If they don't see, vote them out. Stain your finger and vote them out. Show them no mercy, vote them out. Vote them out with total scorn and utter disdain. Let's put our country together again. Vote them out of power.
Terminate their reign.
Let's put our country together again.
This Saturday from 11 a.m. 19 Stanmore Avenue is a wash in orange. As the PP's first fundraising line, meet, eat and greet, we come together, one people under one flag, and we are going to lime and have a time. It will be lit if you are available. If you haven't got your tickets yet, look at the names on the thread. Look for Felicia, and Lima, and Giselle, and Diana, and Karen, and Ali G. Link up, get your tickets, come down Saturday. We're there from 11 to 2:33, and it's going to be a good time.
If for 30 years you voting them in, and there's only tears as soon as they win, they give you big words and enslave your souls,
Promising you roads and giving you potholes.
and giving potholes.
When last year driving, Diego
They
Martin?
are the reason why the economy goes sprout. When you're voting, vote them out. Vote them out.
Ex-speaker, son, nephew, build a multi-story building across from the Oval. The judiciary renting it. For what?
Vote them out. If it is the building ISOs, east, west, north and south, they say where you vote them in. Vote them out.
Time to vote them out.
Register and vote them out. Totally. Vote them out. State your finger and vote them out. Rescue the country. Vote them out. Vote them out with tempo. They have we in vain.
Let's put our country together again.
Vote them out with calypso and joyous refrain. Let's put our country
We will chant a song of love and freedom as one nation. We will get together for the first time. We will break down the walls that separate Caroni from CPEP. We will make sure that for the first time in the history of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, politics is representative of the people and not of the finances. We will ensure that the national pie is shared. Our first goal is to drill it right down to the people most in need. You hear what Peter Hadid said today? I want to give him a round of applause. Make sure the poor people eating.
if their policy
If their policy
is a fallacy,
is a fallacy,
their bureaucracy a catastrophe. If they cannot vote and you see it so, then your only hope is for them to vote.
All vote them out.
Put them out in Scarborough
And in Port of Spain.
Let's put our country together again. Put them out in Comodo and in Laramie. Let's put our country together again.
Get ready. Get your marching shoes ready. Get Vaseline for your toes if you can't take long walk. Get comfortable socks. Get broad brim hat, orange shades. Get fan, get your flag. Get ready. We marching as one people. We coming together to rescue this nation. And Hoovex fire trucking laws. We coming to rescue our nation. People must come first. Citizens by right. None of us are worse. Yellow, black or white.
Black or white. Food, shelter and clothes. Free movement and speech.
A garden that grows, and one law for each.
If it is that injustice is what they always show.
When you're voting,
If it is that avarice is all they seem to know.
peptrendago@gmail.com. The website going live
Politics.
this Saturday at noon. Put a clock on it.
Elections day come.
All bandit must go.
Register.
Everything happens now. It's time to move. Time to come together. Link up the old and the young. Tell them the people that we were waiting on is us. Is all of we. Everybody who has been marginalized, sidelined, or feel left out in any way from the system, this party is for you. This is for you. If you have no water, if the price of food too high, if you can't own a home, if your children's education is shit, if you feel like healthcare in this country is crap, this party is for you. Come on board, add your voice, add your feet, get yourself ready. We are going to take this country back. Yes? To all of you who are with me tonight, thank you very much. Sorry that I was an hour late, but I will explain you why tomorrow because we're running out of time. Yes? See you all Saturday. I there from noon. We're going to have a time. Stay safe, Trinidad and Tobago.